I don't know why this is here. Why am I also making this face? Hello, everyone. This is what happens when I type things without paying attention. Hello. You might be wondering, why am I doing this? I don't know. I'm just not in the mood to play games today. Or, in general. It's weird, right? Because think about it. I don't know, I'm like in a weird lull period right now where I'm not really... I don't know, I'm on the mood to play a lot of games. I like playing them, don't get me wrong. It's just like the kinds I want to play... I don't know. You get in those kind of periods, right? Where you just stare at all the games you own and you're just like, well, I don't want to play this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to do XYZ for whatever reason. That's more or less what I've been like lately. It's not been a bad thing or anything like that. It's just what I've been going through. When trying to figure out what I wanted to do this week. I had some ideas, but like, I don't know. It's a busy week in general. So, GG. One thing I have been doing though recently, at least, is mostly more or less just catching up on like some shows and stuff that I have been wanting to see, but haven't for whatever reason. Mainly just anime and shit, because who would have thought the anime guy is an anime fan? That's crazy shit, isn't it? More or less it's just shit like, shit, what have I been watching? I started watching Furon because everyone and their mothers were fucking posting about that on Twitter or whatever the fuck. Or just memes. I saw so much shit. I have all my friends watch that shit, everything. So I more or less just got into it because of that. It's a good show. I do really like it. It's a very good show. If you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend it because it's a very fun show. It's interesting. I like a lot of aspects about it, considering that it is fantasy, but it's not like an isekai where it's like the same thing done over and over again. Plus, I just think that I just have fun with the characters. Like, I think some of the things they do is kind of funny. I like the gags they have with Furon being like basically a fucking dumbass. She's just like me for real, you know? It's a funny little aspect. I do respect it. Let's start. There was also something else. I also like, I remember seeing a post about Furon before I watched it. It was like, oh, you know, the real fan service in anime, people think we won. You know, the fan service people think we won, and it's like fucking, you know, all the TNA, all that shit, because that's then like fucking everything. And then it's like the fan service we actually won, and it's just fucking, it's just Fern pouting. And it's kind of funny how often that actually happens. It's kind of funny though. I do actually like it. So maybe they were onto something. Maybe they were. I don't know. A lot of the characters in that show were interesting. I wasn't expecting a lot around the tail end, because it's like it's done now. So like at least the first season is kind of done. So it's not like there's more episodes coming in. But the amount of like mages you got introduced to around the end part were kind of cool. I wasn't expecting many introductions. Like I knew like the main cast more or less. Like, oh, I knew there was gonna be the heroes and like the original trio, the original 4 heroes, and then you would get like fucking Fern and then Stark, who comes later. I enjoy him. They have a good chemistry. It's great. And though Stark's just like me for real, because he's a coward, just like me. I just am not strong. Besides that, though, I think I also watch, shit, I'm gonna have to like try to pronounce this, because I always have issues pronouncing Japanese names. I'm very like brain dead when it comes to, you guys see me play games where they have a fuck ton of different names. I will mispronounce shit. Not on purpose, but just because I have a fucking brain of a fucking pea. It sucks. But I also been watching Mushoku Tensei. I fucked it up one time. I said Mushoku fucking, you know, Jobless Reincarnation. I'm just gonna say Jobless Reincarnation because English names exist for a reason. It's a completely different show. It is an isekai, you know, an ironic one. The only reason I gave it a shot is because I remember seeing all those posts when it first started, and I'm like, oh, it's the first one. Oh, it's the first one. I'm like, fuck it, sure, why not give it a shot? I like it though. Like, yeah, it has the generics, like, oh my god, it's an isekai, oh my god, I've been teleported to a new world, a reincarnated into a new world, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not interesting in that regard. But I just like the aspects of, hey, dude just wants to, like, dude just wanted to live a chill life. He didn't want to be a protagonist. He didn't want to do all that shit. Then some quirky little events happens, and in a way, the best framing of mine when I had going at that show, because I was more or less told what the show was really about. Do you think it's just an isekai bullshit? No. The entire point of the show, more or less, is just, hey, this dude's a piece of shit. And he is. He's unequivocally a piece of shit. He's a goddamn worst person in the goddamn existence. Piece of shit. But throughout the course of the show, he learns to not be a piece of shit. Shocking. I know. Crazy shit. And, well, I found it interesting. But it's how it goes. I do think it's funny. One of the characters, I did not like at all when she was first introduced. It's one of the main, like, girls, I should say. Because, you know, he's just gonna have, like, he wants to have sex with every woman that he ever meets in, like, a 5-foot radius because he's a fucking scumbag. But one of the girls was, like, Eris. She's, like, the redhead girl. I really disliked her when I first saw her. Because she was just a bitch. I hated her. I thought she was awful. Unironically, though, the show did something weird where they actually made me actually start liking her. As the show went on, they had actual progression. Weird. I honestly thought she was just gonna be extremely one-note, and she kind of still has that one-noteness in a way. But damn, they actually made me like, they hard turned me around on her, because when we first see her, and like the first like few episodes you have with her, you just don't like her. She's awful. She's like the worst part of that show at that moment. Not to say that she's badly written. No, she's fine. You just don't like her, and she was written to be disliked. You see why. But then, as it goes on, you don't need to like her, and it's cool. I'm happy they did that, because you don't get that opportunity too often. And I appreciate that shit. Plus, with at least both of those shows, they're well animated, and that helps my eyes because animation is very nice. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, the show needs to have good animation. Like, it obviously needs a good story. If the story's not compelling, I'm just gonna get bored and stop watching. That's just true. However, let's be real, guys. Having a good art is pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm just saying. It's a bit good. Otherwise, you have cases like One Punch Man Season 2, where like apparently it went to shit, or fucking 7 Deadly Sins, where it went to real shit. I'd never seen those. I just saw images of like compilations of how awful those went. I don't know how you could do that. It's just what it is. It's just funny. Also, I ran out of all the sprites I had. I had like an entire pack my parents got me, and I just went through it in like a few weeks. That's awful. I drink way too much soda when they're giving to me. It's like a weird thing where like if my parents would give me like these snacks and stuff, and I was thinking, oh, this is unhealthy. I should eat these immediately so I won't eat them over time. It's weird. Hey Milo, how you doing? But yeah, because it's gone, I'm just back to drinking straight water. I go through them so much sometimes because, like, I don't know, they're just easy, you know? Like, some of them weren't even in the fridge. I drank most of them out, like, straight out the fucking container. And it's fine, they're, like, kind of chilled. Good, you? I'm doing fine. I just got out of my organic chemistry class, so I want to cry. God. Those classes are very good at making me feel extremely smart, but also like an idiot at the same time. I don't know how you can manage doing that, but they found a way. They found a way. You know, thinking about that reminds me of the Drake and Josh intro. I didn't really grow up too much with that show. I've seen a little bit, but like it was more for people older than me, which is fine, but it wasn't really my thing. But it reminded me of the whole shit going on with a documentary with like Nickelodeon shit, cause like we all know like Nickelodeon during that period was doing some sus shit. Like their child actors kind of got exploited in a weird way because their main dude was fucking Dan Schneider, and Dan Schneider, if you do not know, is a creep. He's an awful person. He's a piece of shit. And the reason why I brought this up is because, like, I just remembered seeing something recently, like, even though he was a piece of shit, there were people, at least around, like, on the shows that did their fucking best to have them not get fucked up. And the biggest thing I'm talking about is Jerry Trainer. Jerry Trainer, if you don't know, he was on both Drake and Josh and iCarly. He played Spencer and iCarly, and I forget who he played. I think it was a Crazy Steve on Drake and Josh. But the main reason I brought that up is that apparently that Giga Chad knew that motherfucker was deranged and did anything in his power to make sure that they would not get fucked up, which I appreciate the fuck out of. That man is a saint. I know he like does like small acting gigs or whatever the fuck nowadays. He still does okay, and I'm happy for him because that's really all I need. Dude, fucking saint. Like, he would show up on days where when you stream for 700 days from now, that's a schedule thing. That's the thing I'm just keeping up so that I'm gonna be like updating the stuff so people can see what my schedule is whenever they want to. That's all it is. But he would show up on days where he wasn't like assigned to show up. Like, he wasn't going to act that day or whatever. But he would just show up anyway to make sure that the people there, like Miranda Cosgrove, the other ones, I don't remember their names, would be okay, because spoilers, you know, bad things would happen. Is like, the only thing, I don't know like too much in detail of what actually happened. I've never seen the documentary myself. The only thing I knew is that Dan Schneider had a massive foot thing, which explained a lot of things in context, because I seen a lot of iCarly and there was way too many foot stuff. Like, there were way too many gags relating to feet, like bare feet exposing, and yeah, yikes. Like, dude made good shows, but holy fuck was he a creep. And thank God he is gone now. That's just the interesting thing, at least. Oh, I also started rewatching Death Note recently. That's another show I've been rewatching. I forgot how much I like that show, because I watched it like one time way in the past when I was a wee little lad and still on Netflix. And I'm watching it now, also on Netflix. I love Netflix for making it available. Thank you. But I forgot how much I like that show, because it's just, instead of being like the classic, like, oh, let's go fight the dude or whatever the fuck, it's all like, it's so smarty McSmarters, and it's, I don't know, it just has a really good compelling narrative, which I always appreciate. When you can make like the tensions high, or you like make it so that, at least in this show, in this context, where every action is explained, or like, not necessarily explained, but like, you know, where everything doesn't just come out of the ass. It makes sense. Like, these people, the entire point of the show is like, hey, the master, like, not master, fucking fighting of wits and whatnot. So having like these two characters basically fight over wits and going through their thought process all the time of how they came to the conclusions they come to, it's great. Because it doesn't just seem like they're pulling shit out their ass. Like, oh yeah, well I know this because, yeah. No, dude. If they come to a conclusion, they have good reasons to come to said conclusion. It's cool. Like, one of the earliest things that happened in that show, because I started watching recently, so I could come to this, was one dude, the main antagonist, L, finds out, hey, Kira lives in Japan because the first dude to ever die from a heart attack was treated from an incident. So let's broadcast this to Japan to prove this shit. And unironically started the downfall, and it's great. It's great. It's cool though. Let me drink my water. I do think it's at least the art style nowadays, like the way it's animated, is like a little dated, because I kind of noticed some stuff with at least some of the earlier like scenes where they were writing shit. They reused some of those animations. I saw that. I'm like, they had an animation of him just like scribbling down on the table. I saw that thing like 3 times. One of them was during the fucking infamous potato scene. Potato chip scene, not potato scene. I wish it was potato scene. That would make it so much funnier, but you know, it's just something I remember noticing. It was funny. Trying to think of anything else I've been watching. More or less I've just been watching those YouTube videos and shit like that, because I don't know. I'm one of those zoomers. I'm one of those zip zoomers who watch too much shit on YouTube. It's fine. It's just funny. I gotta go. Alright, see ya. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know. More or less my classes and whatnot have been pretty chill. I'm thankful for that because, like, at least being there, it's nice. My fucking analytical chem class, which is a piss easy class, at least what it is currently, is very nice. Because legitimately the teacher's a saint, it makes it all easy, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't try to abuse it, but I kind of unintentionally do. Because essentially, like, today in class, there was a group assignment, right? You're supposed to make these group presentations to give it out, right? It's like a weekly thing, so like, I'm not doing it today, whatever. That's fine. Another group did, though. Yeah, I didn't mean to sleep, but I kind of slept through the entire thing because she turned out the lights, and I was like, I was out like a light, bro. I was so fucking tired. I'm not used to, I don't like waking up so early. I get like, I have to drag myself out of my bed, and the bed is like nice and warm, and you go outside, it's cold, and you're just like, ugh. It sucks. It sucks so much dick. I hate it with every fiber of my being. But it could be better. But yeah, that was just how it was. Besides that though, I think it's mostly chill. My genetics class is chill, there's nothing much going on there. Like sometimes, the more recent shit I kind of had to lock in for because that shit looks like actual Greek to me. But it's still comprehensive. The only class I'm really ever worried about is physics, because physics is a sin against man. Whoever is the fucking inventor of physics deserve to get their balls strapped to their head and stapled together, because Jesus fucking Christ, it sucks so much dick. It's awful. I hate it. I'm not good at it. Like, it's weird, because, like, the main thing I like about chemistry is, like, at least the stuff I'm learning right now, it's, like, kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it's consistent, but I feel like the stuff I'm learning is, like, more of a consistent thing. You know, physics, I feel like I have to pull shit out of my ass to actually answer questions. Or I have to discern a lot of things. So that's my biggest weakness. Is I have a very hard time. I don't want to say critically thinking, because I can critically think, but it's basically critically thinking. It's when there's not all the information applied, like given to you, when you have to discern your own information from the question. That's when the issues tend to arise for me. That's my main weakness. That's why it sucks. I don't get those many issues with other classes, so that's why it's like, it's kind of easy for me, because I can like blink and I can do shit. Like even organic chem, it's a hard class, but I don't have that much of a hard time with it, which is kind of funny. I'm not trying to brag or anything, it's just how I am. It's weird. I'm still sad. I was supposed to hang out with one of my friends Saturday? I was going to get like some shit with them. Like it was last minute as shit. Domino's was apparently doing like half off pizzas. He was like, bro, we need to go get some. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll be down. The only problem is that neither of us drove, and we needed a ride, and it never happened. Hey Kiji, how's it going? Hello Mizi, how are you doing on this fine afternoon, evening, whatever it is? I'm just yapping. I'm just a professional yapper. It was so sad though. I was talking about like how I was supposed to get some pizzas with a friend. That like there was a promotion going on, but I couldn't. None of us could go because we can't drive. I haven't gotten my official license, so I can't actually drive, which is awful. That sounds awful. Here's why though. Right? I have a decent reason why. If you don't know, I have 3 older sisters. There's like 4 of us. All right. Out of the 4 of us, 1 of us has gotten their license before they graduated from high school. 2 of us still don't have a license, that's including me. 1 of them got theirs, I think, during college, or was it after college or some shit like that? I know, she actually got it after college. It's weird, like, that's the, I remember she had to take like an entire like quick crash course after she got out of college, and like fucking, like she was like doing it quickly because she had a job in a different city and she needed a car to actually do this shit because, you know, parents can't drive her there. She's in a completely different city. That's like 4 hours away. So she had to learn within a month. that was something. That was an experience. But my parents growing up, they were very bad about getting us driving. So a lot of us just didn't learn. I could I just need to really schedule a test because I feel like I could pass it. I've just been lazy though. That's my own thing. I plan on getting it soonish, probably during the summer, because I'm confident in my ability. Because I did do a lot of practice. I just never got around to it. That's my fault though. That's my fault. My family life is a bit interesting though, because I don't know. There are certain quirks about him that I never. I don't want to say necessarily got used to, but just I feel like it affected me in some way. Like biggest thing, right? If you don't know, my family, I'm bounding my parents right now. They're hoarders. I lived in a hoarder house. It wasn't like you're not gonna find it on like the TLC show like hoarders or anything like that. It was never that bad, thankfully, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But I could move. My room wasn't completely decrepit. I could sleep. There wasn't anything too gross. There was a lot of gross things. I'm not gonna deny that, but. Because of that, my parents had shame for their house because, you know, it's a hoarder house. So I wasn't allowed to have anyone over ever. I never, ever had friends over. I never invited people over growing up. But as a kid, I wanted to still hang out with my friends. So I was like growing up, I remember being like a child, like before, like in middle school, being like, hey, I wanna go hang out. When I can't hang out, so my mom was like telling me, you know, you can't have them here because of, you know, the houses. I'm like, okay, I'll just go hang out at their house. And I'll call them and ask if they can hang out at their house. It's like, no. My mom told me, like, basically, no, you can't do that. You can't just invite yourself there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just never, during the summers, I just never talked to any of my friends from school because I didn't know what to do. I like, there were obviously parks and stuff, but as a kid, I didn't know where any of those were. I didn't go out much as a kid. I just didn't know where any of them were. So my entire summer basically consisted of my family stuff. I was just like, the main thing that I would do to pass time was either watch TV or play games as a kid. That was my free time. That was the only thing I did. Thankfully, later on, my friends also had gaming consoles and stuff, so I was able to hang out with them that way. And of course, like during high school and stuff, I learned that, hey, you can just invite yourself, really. It's not a big deal. But it was just... it's just a funny thing because growing up, you kind of, it kind of sticks with you. You kind of have that mindset a little bit, you know? Because it's one of those things that kind of stick with you. You kind of like, just get kind of nervous about that thing because you think it's rude to basically try to ask people to go do shit with you. Obviously, that's not how it is, and obviously I'm much better with it, but it's just how I am, like mentally. And I think it kind of also got too used to not hanging out with people. So kind of like maybe a little more introverted than maybe I would have been if I were to be going out regularly, you know? Basically, it prevented me from becoming a filthy normie. Ugh. It's funny though, that's just how it is. Also another thing growing up which is very interesting, here's something I didn't learn until much later in my life. I'm allergic to pets. I'm allergic to pet dander. I'm pretty sure it's either that or dust, but it's more likely pet dander. 100% more likely pet dander. And I never knew this because I grew up with pets. I never had an extended period of time where I didn't have pets. So Waffles, did you have friends in high school? I did have friends in high school. It just took some time. High school took a lot of time for me to get friends. It's a bit embarrassing. When I went from middle school to high school, right? A lot of my friends didn't go to the same high school I did. I went to a different one because we had a choice more or less. It wasn't like you get assigned to high school, no. So all my friends, we went to different high schools and shit, and we didn't really keep up, which is partially my fault because I didn't really know how that worked. So I never did that. So in high school, like as a, I don't want to say freshman because we actually started 8th grade for some reason, so we were pre-freshmen. I had one friend that I knew. That was one dude. I would say around sophomore year is when I really had a friend group that I kept with. I had friends, quote unquote, during my 8th grade and 9th grade year, but they kind of rotated. They weren't really people I clicked with. So it was a bit of an awkward stage where I was like talking to a lot of people, but I didn't have the quote unquote clique that I had. You know, you didn't have the boys yet. Sophomore year is where I found my boys. And ironically enough, my friend that I had from middle school, that he was not a part of it, more or less. I was a band kid in high school. I met this one dude in high school in band who I was trying to find your boy hunt. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. This wasn't a relationship, croissant. This wasn't a relationship. We were just good friends. But I met him in a band. I remember my first impressions of this dude. I thought he was gross as shit and weird because his roommate in band camp, because yeah, I had band camp, who would have thought? His roommate said he shat himself. And so I thought he was just a gross dude who shits himself. So I didn't want to be friends with him at first. So I was like, nah, I gotta keep away from this motherfucker. And eventually I realized, hey, wait, dude's kind of chill like that. So I think we started like getting closer around 9th grade, and then sophomore year we kind of really hit it off. And dude had his like friend group, and he basically was like, hey, you wanna come hang out with us? I'm like, sure, why the fuck not, you know? I just said fuck it one day and sat with him like during some free periods and shit. I met his friends. I got along with his friends, and then I was indoctrinated as one of the boys. That's how it happened. It was weird. I was just adopted essentially. Because prior to that, I had friends exist still in like band, whatever. I made a lot of friends there, which I'm thankful of. But that was when I made my like more or less my friend group of my grade, which is kind of very needed, at least in high school. Because like if you don't like, not to say you can't have friends outside your grade, but you really need friends in your grade, because if they're all above you, then you're just gonna have a year when you are essentially alone, and that sucks. Because I know this, because I had a lot of friends that were like 2 years above me. So my sophomore year was my last year with them, and then they all were gone. I like those guys. Those guys were great. Fucking loved them. Boom, gone. But if you had friends that are younger than you, they could stick around whenever. Don't get me wrong, but it's just you still have like the first year where you basically don't have anyone. But it was nice. It was kind of funny though. I did actually have a lot of... I wasn't expecting to have a lot of friends that were 2 years above me. But I kind of clicked with a lot of those guys too, because a lot of them were pretty chill. It's funny how it works. Yeah, I was a band kid. Here's a funny thing though. I just hated band. I sucked at it. I wasn't very good. I was okay. I was okay enough. I got better with the years. But I actually hated most of the practice of doing it. I was unironically just there at a certain point where just to hang out with all my friends that were in it. What'd you play? I played the trumpet. All you really know how to play a trumpet is that you just need to have good lungs, I guess. Because motherfucker, the one thing I was good at was being loud. And so I just fucking blew that shit. It's funny though, because like, there's not really much nuances in that regard. All you really need to know is like, hey, how to use those 3 valves to play notes. That's like all memorization. If you remember how to play that shit, easy shit. You can read sheet music, it's whatever, it's pretty fucking easy. But you need to know how to blast that shit. And yeah, it's blasting because like, that is what we called it when you're really just being very loud. Because sometimes you really need to be loud to be heard. And that's the main point of the trumpet, is just to be fucking one of the loud ones. That's the brass section in general, it's just loud fuckers. And sometimes it's needed, because sometimes you're like basically the main course. And to be the main course, you gotta have that power, you gotta have that drive. And that was the one thing I was really good at. I could blast that shit. My main problem was that usually, the one thing I wasn't good at was, 1, being fast, and 2, playing very high notes. Do you still play? Nope. I am extremely out of practice. Like, I could probably pick it up and play some basic shit still, because like, it's not hard. But I haven't played in fucking forever. I do remember, we try, like the high notes to some songs would be very, very straining. Because the one thing I learned too, at least about my body, is that if I blast, or like, this even works with singing. If I sing too hard, like too much, or like too hard, I get really bad headaches immediately afterwards. Like if my brain just like starts having like massive pain telling me like, hey bro, don't do that shit. What the fuck are you doing? And I just learned to power through that shit. That sounds very bad. Like it's a medical thing. Like I shouldn't do that. But I did it anyway. There was never any severe consequences for it. That was always like weirded out. I felt like that was never normal. But I still did it. That was really bad. That's a very bad thing to do medically. You should not do that kind of shit if you're me. But I'm kind of an idiot, so I did it anyway. It was fun though. I liked it. Again, I had mentioned before, I had problems with being fast because sometimes you had to be really fast for some songs. So like sometimes I'd be like, and I play a bunch of different notes in like that kind of span. It's very hard because you need to be fast with your fingers, and I am not fast with my fingers. If I was fast with my fingers, I'd be much better at like COD or something. Nope, that is not my forte. Not good at it at all. Get that breathing rhythm going. Breathing rhythm wasn't too hard. Running out of breath is an quote-unquote issue if it comes to a song with like a lot of long notes, because you need to have the lung capacity to really play a certain note at a certain volume for a certain period of time. So if you need to play a song for like let's say 10 seconds, and you need to be at like a loud, like decently loud volume, you need a lot of lung power just to keep it on. That's why necessarily for that kind of note, you don't want to blast it, because if you blast it, you're essentially like blowing your load way too early. That's what I learned about it, cause I like blasting, it's fun. But sometimes I can't blast it all the time, otherwise I just fucking die at the end of those notes. It's not fun doing that, where I have to cut it off early because I'm actually out of breath. It's bad shit. I do remember my last year, I was actually like first trumpet, which is like the highest one you could go, but I was on it was like, we had multiple seats, you know, so it was like, there was like 4 of us, and I was on objectively the worst one. The motherfucker, I had spirit, at least. We would go to football games. We had to go to every football game to play songs and stuff, because of course football, yeah, football, American football, wah! And what I lacked in ability, I made up with fucking spirit, because I was one of the hype men, basically. Because I kind of got our like younger guys more or less hyped up for the actual other aspects of during those games, because we didn't just play all the time. Sometimes during games, we didn't play actual songs. The only ones who would be playing something would be the drum line, and they had a cadence going on where they have a certain like drum song they do, and so they like do that on the drums. And during then, we more or less just fucked around and did dances and shit with the instrument. We would have like design dances or whatever. It's not really designed, quote unquote, because really we had the power to do whatever we want, as long as, you know, we're not being like inappropriate. So again, you don't have to do it, because a lot of kids didn't. There was no one enforcing you to do it, but like, god damn it, I was one of those people who were like, bro, we gotta do this shit. It's fun, because it's hype shit. I remember we were in parades. We were in some parades later on, and if you did that shit, because that shit happened too during it, people would cheer us on, and god damn it was actually kind of funny. I remember we would go to some and people were drunk as shit, and they would just be cheering us on just for existing, and it was kind of funny. It kind of encouraged us, but it was kind of hype, so I liked it. Those parades were tiring though, that's the thing. Because like usually those would be like 8 miles long or something, and you're walking, you're marching, you're trying to be in step and everything, which is tiring as well, it's not tiring, but like marching 8 miles is tiring. So whenever there's a break, you're just like, oh thank god, I'm dying. Because we had to take breaks. We would fucking collapse and die otherwise. And I remember during those breaks, the biggest thing that was a saving fucking grace was during those breaks, they would give us water and food and whatever, but the biggest thing that was amazing was that one of the parents, because we had a bunch of volunteers that were parents, whatnot, would bring frozen grapes. And that's when I learned to love frozen grapes. Frozen grapes, for those shits, are so nice, because you're hot as hell, because you're wearing uniforms that are fucking thick as shit. You will sweat. Objectively, you will sweat. It is gross, it is nasty, it is gross. You will sweat. Don't matter how much like antiperspirant you put on your fucking pits, you will sweat. Objective truth. But those frozen grapes both hydrated your ass and were cool as shit. So it tasted like, well, it didn't taste like much. It tastes like a grape, but it felt like heaven. It felt so fucking good. Now I remember I would just stuff my face full of like a bunch of snacks during this shit, because that was you know what we do. I remember with our first years, during one of those stops though, they had like the fucking, I want to say it was the Cupid Shuffle playing from like one of these speakers that were like just around. So we just fucking, one of the guys just said, fuck it, we're gonna do the Cupid Shuffle, and we just started just fucking dancing. It was funny as shit. It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun. Those are the kind of things I like to reflect on, because like in hindsight, those things were really fun. I can't do that shit nowadays. My knees would buckle. My legs would break. What did you say when you were the wild card, Kiji? I wasn't very wild. I wasn't a wild child or anything like that. I knew people that were a lot crazier than me growing up, but I wasn't like boring either. I had some stories. There were some things I witnessed. Here's another thing. During band camp, right? Around the end of it, people, like the seniors, would give out awards, quote unquote. And these awards would be for anything. It's just anything they want to give out something for, they would give out something. Traditionally, and I say traditionally as in it was our first few years while I was there. How they would get these awards to give out is we'd be on another college campus. This is important, I forgot to mention this. We're at a completely different area. We're at some college that lets us train there over the summer. They would steal shit from the cafeteria. That's the trophy. They would steal shit from the cafeteria, like get a Sharpie, mark it up, and then give them out. I don't know why they even let them do that at first, but that's what they would do. Like, they would give out like fucking plastic like plates, essentially, or whatever the fuck. Again, I don't know why they let them do that at first, but our like last few years they didn't let us do it for obvious reasons. But I just remember one day though, people like, you know, it got to a point where like they wanted to try to get the biggest thing they could. So one day, I witnessed a group of seniors, take one of the tables from inside the room and brought it outside. Now, that shouldn't happen. Now, here's why it shouldn't happen. Because at the front of this thing, usually for those kind of things, they would have a receptionist, making sure, like, counting all the people in that are there, make sure the people that are, like, arrive have, like, a meal, like, swipe their meal card plan or, like, pay, whatever the fuck, because, you know, that shit ain't free. Somehow, that lady conveniently was not paying attention. So they just let us all walk past. Again, I was actually part of the group. I was outside, and I just looked behind me, and there's a group coming out of the doors just with the whole ass table. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck? And obviously, they weren't going to use it as an actual trophy. It was more just showing, like, yeah, I could steal this shit. They put it back because they didn't want to get into too much trouble, but, like, that was a moment. That was a moment. One of the other things I also remember is that, like, the last night you're there, quote unquote, if you leave your door unlocked, there was something spread around that if you leave your door unlocked on the last night, the pizza fairy would come in and put a pizza, like a piece of pizza in your shoe. This just sounds stupid as fuck, but here's what it actually was. Originally, the night before, like the last night, we would have like some like big dance thing, like, oh my god, all the band kids and all the dance team, whatever the fuck that would like be like training with us for whatever fucking reason, would be there just to fuck around, like have fun with songs, like dance, eat food, and they would have a lot of pizzas because of course they would. But we didn't eat it all, so whatever leftover pizza, the seniors would just pass around any kids' night and do that shit. Oh, pizza fair. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was so funny. I remember my first year, I was thinking, nah, dude, this is a scam. They're gonna steal my shit. I don't trust it. And I remember like hiding my my valuables because I was also told they had like MasterCards or some shit. So I remember hiding my valuables under some stuff, and I think I also broke a drawer because they had one of those like fake drawers, and I tried to force it open, and I accidentally broke it. And I remember I just like slightly put it in a place where it wasn't completely noticeable, and I just never got caught with that. I did not want to take the blame for it, and I never saw any repercussions for it. It was a great time. But I remember our senior year, we didn't get a chance to do it. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to do it. They stopped at some point because people, as far as I know, I don't even think they ever actually did it when I was there. I never saw it, which I was so depressed about. I don't know why they stopped. I got hyped up. They never fucking did it. I was so sad. I wanted to do it my senior year, but we had COVID, so we didn't get to do it that year, really. Very depressing set. I was not English. Very depressing shit. Holy crap. God God, was there anything else? Okay, here's actually a fun story, right? This one actually involves me. Who would have thought? This is not just something I witnessed. This isn't something that, like, I was told. This is something that actually I was a part of. And it's something I kind of should be embarrassed about. But I'm not, because it's funny. I don't care. So, in my high school, you would have... No, there's no orgy, croissant. Fuck off. There is no orgy. In my high school, they would have a big brother system where, like, you would have someone that's like a senior or a junior take some like pre-freshman or a freshman if they're new, and they would make sure, like, hey, like, introduce them like around the like school campus, maybe like not necessarily be their friend, but like help them if they have any questions or like struggling, whatever the fuck, whatever it is. One of mine was a dude who was in band. I shouldn't say one of mine. Mine was a dude who was in band. And he was a cool dude. I remember him. This dude was named Doug. Doug was an alright guy. An alcoholic, but he was an alright guy. What also happened during then was, during band camp one day, me and my friend, one of my best friends, again, we were trying to meet anyone there, like, whatever the fuck, we're trying to make people's friends. I remember Doug called us over, because again, we're a bunch of pre-freshmen, they wanted to fuck with us. So what happened was, they got an ice cream cone, a giant, like, ice cream thing, because they had one of those, like, dispensers. So they got one, filled it to the brim, very high, gave it to me. They also wanted to give one to my best friend, but my friend is, like, Casey and intolerant, so they didn't want to force him. So they said, fuck it, you're fine. We're not gonna do that. Because at least, they were motherfuckers, but they were motherfuckers with a heart. I, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. I was told, eat it all in one gulp. Like, try to force it all down my mouth. Oh, me being an idiot kid, I didn't realize what the entire thing was. So I thought, you know, it was a funny thing. Yeah, I was literally, I was giving an ice cream a blowjob. That's essentially what it was. So I went in there. I remember one of the guys literally, like, forced my head down because I think I was actually gagging a little bit, but I wasn't, whatever, because it's like fucking ice cream. It's not that big of a deal. It fucking melted. And the entire time, people, when it was all in, they started chanting spitters or quitters. I didn't know what was going on. I was like fucking 13, and I didn't really understand. So I just thought I was getting hyped up, and I was so happy. There was a video. My friend actually took a video of this shit. So there's a video of that I have. I can get at any time and just rewatch me being an idiot kid. It's so fucking funny. Besides that, though, it wasn't anything. They didn't give me shit for it afterwards, so it's like still whatever. But after that, we were never allowed to use the ice cream machines again ever since that year. So I only ever got ice cream my 8th grade year. 9th grade onward, never. It was so depressing. I unironically was responsible for that. I didn't know any better though. I was literally just manipulated into doing it, essentially. I didn't mind. I had fun with it. I still don't mind. I had ice cream. I loved ice cream. But it was funny. I love water. Another thing, was there anything else interesting that happened there? There was one kid that I remember. He was older than me. He was like a year older than me, but like, dude was like small and like flexible. So he would just fall asleep. No, there's no orgy. There's no orgy, croissant. Stop it. One dude was like small kid, flexible. And so when he was also like narcoleptic, so he just falls asleep a lot and he would not be able to get back up. So they just stuffed him into shit and see if he could fit. He got put into lockers. He was put into guitar cases and whatever. He was fine with it. He didn't care. It was funny. They gave him awards for that, like, multiple times because funny shit, you know? Oh, God. I'm trying to think, was there much? Because I know there's a lot of shit that happened, but like, my brain's a little fuzzy, because those years were very interesting. They sucked, though, right? Because the entire purpose of this trip wasn't to, like, learn songs. I mean, they kind of were, to learn a song, like, a few songs. But the entire point of it was there was this thing called the Munchie Festival down the end of the year, right? Well, not really the year, but like mid part of the year, where we essentially have to learn a show where you go, you know, when you go on a, like, you see a football game on TV, like you see the band sometimes at halftime, like do a thing where they go on the field, they stand in like certain areas and they move around. That's what we learn. And around a certain part, we would basically go to this like field and we would get judged for our show. There is a lot of practicing that involves in that, because you need to memorize where you go for all spaces. You need to memorize the entire song that you're playing. You need to memorize any like special like thing you're doing, any special movements that you're doing. Like, are you kneeling at a certain point? Are you getting up and getting down at a certain point? Are you going back? Are you looking backwards? You need to know all that stuff. It's not completely hard, because all it is just practice, practice, practice. But it does take a bit. And of course, you need to do this all while you're stepping in time. You need to make sure you're, again, in the right spot. If you're making straight lines, you better make sure that line is fucking straight. If that shit is dented, you're getting executed on the spot. We will call you out for that. We'll make fun of you. Not literally, but you will get called out for it. But that was our thing. It wasn't bad, but like, practicing that shit in the summer sucked so much because it is so goddamn hot. Fuck, dude. I don't know how I survived that shit, because you would be dehydrated, essentially. Like, they would give us breaks every once in a while to, like, get, like, drinks or whatever. And people would chug that shit. But holy fuck, I don't know how I survived that, because that shit was actually tired. It was dead. I would die. Oh. I do remember one year, though. Here's the funny thing. You would get scored for 4 different categories. General, which is general stuff. Percussion, which is the drums, and the drums on the sideline, because you would also have sideline people that wouldn't necessarily march, and they would play instruments that can't really be, moved around with, like a xylophone. You can't really move that around. And they would call the pit, but they were part of percussion, so they would be judging there. I want to say there was one for the dance team, and there was one for the drum major, and the drum major is essentially the dude conducting the shit. So he was making sure, like, doing, like, all the hand stuff, making sure it went in time, whatever. It's not that hard. And you would be scored on a score of 1 to 4. 1 being the best score, 4 being the worst score. I do remember, the reason I brought this up is that one year of mine, I remember during our show, 3 people fell down. It was obviously an accident. They didn't fall down on purpose. One dude tripped, and then 2 people tripped on top of them. But they recovered hard and came back, and somehow we got a 1 in that regard. We didn't get all 1s that year, but we got a 1 in general, which was like, huh? How? We literally had people fall and get back up, but yet we still were good enough. That was the shocking thing. I remember being like, we cheated or some shit. And I think we would have gotten all 1s that year, but I think, like, there was a metronome left on, and so we got points docked for that. But we honestly thought we would, like, we bribed some people, because, like, there was no way in how we deserved that shit. On top of some, compared to other, like, schools or whatever, because, like, it was a school thing, so you saw everyone else. You did it every year. We did it every year that it was, like, available. Like, our last year, it wasn't around because of COVID, but, yeah, every year. It was an every year thing. So every year for band camp, we would learn a completely different show. Because, yeah, we didn't learn the same show. It was a completely different show. I remember my first year, our show was about Pink Floyd. Everyone else, no idea. I had no idea who anyone else, anything else was. I didn't know anything about any of the fucking songs. That was it. Besides that, though, it was alright. I need to crack my knuckles. It was interesting shit, though. I don't mind, because he kind of bonded over that. So that's why I made a lot of my friends early on, at least some friends. But they were interesting characters. They were some very interesting characters. There were a lot of assholes. Holy shit. There were some assholes, because we had a massive band. It wasn't small. We had like 100+ kids in that band. So there was a lot. Are you still in school? I'm a college student, so I'm not in high school anymore. I am a spry 21-year-old, so I've been a few years out. I'm a few years out. But I'm still like studying stuff. I'm a chem major if you're interested, which means I like suffering. It's funny though, I wasn't a chem major originally. I was a comp sci major at first, until one class filtered me hard. And I was like, damn, I'm not good at this, and gave up. And switched to chemistry because I was like, damn, Chemistry in high school was pretty alright. I'm gonna do that. So I wanted to be STEM. And now I'm here, and I'm okay. I'm okay. Let me think what else though. What's the dream? What do you mean, what's the dream? Did I say anything about dreams? Am I brain dead? I might be brain dead. Sorry, I have a sponge brain sometimes. I also remember during the Breaking Bad group was massive. So there would be like a lot of cliques within that group where like some people would like we just didn't like because they're whatever, they're like assholes. There was a lot of kids younger than me, like especially like 2+ years younger than me, that were just such dicks. I fucking hated that. Cause it's probably like those certain points that you see the memes where it's like seniors looking at freshmen, freshmen looking at seniors, whatever the fuck, they like always hate each other. Dude, I got that. I completely got that. I didn't hate the seniors when I was a freshman or whatever the fuck, but holy shit, when I was a senior, I hated it. I hated all the people younger than me. I thought they were such shit kids because they were just assholes acting like they're some big head honcho. I'm like, bro, you're like 6 years old. Shut the fuck up. No. Well, asking what you want to do considering Gem came major. No idea actually. I haven't put that much thought into it. I don't know. I'm still relatively early on in that regard. Not too early on, but somewhat. So I have some time to think about it. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. That's the problem. It's a bit of a scary thing. I haven't thought too much about my future, which is awful. I know. But I don't know. It just hasn't come to me. I know my brother-in-law went to the same school and same major as me. So I could always just bug him about what he did. Because I know he did certain stuff that kind of led to where he's at now. And one of my teachers taught me that, like, most of chemistry are these two specific fields. So I'm probably just gonna go into one of them. That being, you're either making shit or you're analyzing shit. That's all it is. And I probably would have an easier time analyzing shit. I think that would be a lot easier. Because that's not a lot of issues. Because all you really need to do in that regard is making sure, like, hey, what's make up this component? Or you're like, hey, what components are in here? Or hey, is there a certain amount of level of components in here? Like, I know my brother-in-law, at a certain point, he had a job at a water treatment plant. And his entire job was making sure that certain contaminants within the water were at a certain level, would never pass a certain threshold. And if they were, you know, shut that shit down. That was his entire job. He would have to run tests on the water, making sure it's all good. That was his job. It's an important job. It's actually like very vital because, like, hey, if your water is fucked up, you can't drink it. But that was his entire job. And obviously there's a lot more things you could do with it. I don't know much about the synthesis part because obviously there's some stuff you need to do. Like there's a medical field completely for chemistry, which is probably has to do with a lot of drug synthesis. But I don't want to do that. I know I don't want to do that because more or less requires going to med school. And the one thing I made a choice when it comes to going to college is that I did not want to go to other education afterwards. I did not want to go to grad school. I did not want to go to law school. I did not want to go to med school. So I avoided anything involving those as much as I could. And that's why, like, I kind of, with comp sci, I kind of defaulted to that, which is probably my main issue, is I really had no purpose thinking about that kind of thing. Because high school, like, you kind of get sent off and, like, basically get told, hey, what do you want to do at a young age? I struggled really finding what I wanted to do, because I didn't like anything. Because they would always ask, well, what subjects do you like? And I'm like, none of them. I don't want to do any of this shit. Like, I have to. Like, I'm good at most of it. Like, I was a very good student in high school, so I would be proficient in everything I did. I didn't like doing it. It was a hard thing to figure out. I just was like, okay, comp sci, I was told, always is a moneymaker, always jobs for it, so I'm gonna do that. Kinda glad in hindsight I switched majors because holy fuck, it's kinda crashing right now. But at the time, I didn't know what I know now. Dude, that shit is scary though, because like I have a lot of friends that are in comp sci, at least some had actual comp sci jobs. I also had some that were like studying comp sci. It's some scary shit. That's what it is. Like, I don't want to say I dodged a bullet, but I kind of dodged a bullet. It fucked me. Switching switching majors in colleges kind of fucked me in some ways. But I feel like now, with what's going on, assuming it doesn't come back, I really dodged a bullet. I hope it comes back, because I really hope my friends that are getting affected by this are able to bounce back. But at least at the current moment, when I would be graduating, more or less, it would have really fucked me up. It would have really fucked me over. I would be really screwed, and that would have been terrifying. How come? Wait, what do you mean by how come? You mean like how come it would have screwed you? Oh, how did it screw me? Okay, well, here's how like switching majors and everything screwed me. Hey, drop chowder. Oh, I didn't even mess up my things that I didn't fix my stuff that well. Well, here, let me explain. When I was at my college for the first time for comp sci, I had a very good scholarship. I had a good ride because I was a good student in high school. I was a good student in high school. I did good at standardized testing, so I was basically a very desired student, quote unquote. I wasn't perfect. I couldn't go to Harvard or any shit like that. But like local schools, I was like quite a catch, because where I live, a lot of dumb fucks. So more or less with my original college and everything, I kind of had a full ride. Not exactly a full ride. I had my parents help me. We had options essentially. Yeah, I kind of did. Like, if I stayed at my original college and my original major, I would be graduating next year without any college debt, which is insane. Now, spoilers, that didn't happen. I failed a comp sci class. I realized I couldn't understand it. It wasn't translating to me. I more or less gave up, and I realized that it wasn't for me. It wasn't my thing. And I switched majors, and that was fine. That wasn't anything wrong. Switching majors itself wasn't wrong, but it also added some years to my stuff. I want to be graduating most likely in 4 years, which is bad because the thing only lasted for 4 years. And then I transferred colleges, and the other college had basically given me nothing. So I had to go into debt for the college I am now. And the reason I transferred over was mostly just because I more or less struggled really finding my place at my old college, so I was having a very negative experience at my old college. Transferring helped. It helped. Objectively, it helped. I'm very happy I transferred. I don't mind my kind of fucking myself and like going into debt, because I still, like, I had a lot of time where I wasn't in debt, so I still started off at a better, decent spot than other people. But you know, there's a certain world where your boy would have had such a massive fucking start in life. But you know, that's hindsight stuff, and I'm happy I didn't change. I'm happy with the choices I made. That's the main thing. I don't regret my decision. Like, it sucks, but I need to do it. It fucking sucked. You about a spot now? Yeah, I'm in a better spot. I would say so. It's just how it is. I don't want to be melodramatic about this. It's not sad. I'm not sad about it. It sucked. I got over it. It's fine. It's just how it goes. I was extremely nervous about not liking my new spot, my new college. It's like, if it didn't click, if it didn't work out, well, I was fucked. I would be fucked. But it worked out. I'm happy where I am. I have friends. I have a major that I'm, like, okay with. I'm okay. That's all that matters. Like, it's not amazing. It was okay. Other than that, though, I don't know. Could be better. I could, if they gave me, like, a transfer scholarship, I would have been very happy, but, like, it didn't happen. I went from a smaller school to a bigger school, so it definitely wasn't gonna happen. They would give me the shot every chance they could to, like, if they would make more money. Well, that's just college in general. That's just college in general. That's the funny thing, though. Here's a funny thing, right? I did not buy most of my textbooks. I avoided buying most of my textbooks, and god damn it, those shits are expensive, and we aren't even using most of them, so I am so happy I didn't buy them. They help. They definitely help. Some classes, like, I probably should have bought my organic chem textbook, or use some of it, but literally, no. No, I'm not using it. Fuck you. That shit is way too much money. If I really need it, I'm going to go on some very fun sites for college textbooks, which is spoilers. my personal opinion, which I don't think is that bad of an opinion, I think it's objectively moral to do. Fuck them. They're trying to price gouge education. Eat my ass. I don't care. That's the most annoying shit. Obtain it somewhere else. Dude, if the teacher tells us to basically obtain it somewhere else rather than do it, I kind of respect that teacher. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, one of my old teachers was so shit. I fucking... I'm getting reminded. At my old college, I had to take a psych class for like a gen ed. It's a boring as shit class. I thought I would be way more interested than I actually would be, but no, that class was so fucking boring. And the teacher had a real problem at projecting his voice. He didn't have a mic thing or anything that helps like project it because it's a big room. Dude was quiet as shit. I had no idea what the fuck he was saying most of the time. Passed it because he uploaded all his notes online, so I just studied through that, and the entire time during that class I'd just be on my phone, not actually giving a fuck about the class. But holy fuck, I hated that class. If I wouldn't say it, but I heavily hint at it. Base. That's all you need to do. That's all that's needed. That's all that's needed. Just hint at it. You don't need to say it outright. But hint at it, that's good enough. That is good enough for me. Ugh. I'm trying to think of any other teachers that like I had a negative experience with. What I did hate, English classes are easy, right? But I hated how much time they took. The smart ones will get it and listen, obviously. They have to. If they don't, then that's you know, that's the first test. If they don't get that, that's minus points, minus 5 points off the exam. I'm kidding. Nah, but like English classes, I was talking about it with some friends recently. Those are massive time waster classes. Because think about it. That's the class. They're easy as hell. But holy shit, dedicating hours to writing a fucking essay when you're a fucking STEM major is annoying as shit. Spending hours reading a book that you don't give a fuck about is annoying as shit. There was one class. There was one English class I took at my old college. It was my last like proper English class. And I had to read this book. I can't really say what it is because it's a local book. But holy fuck, it was so boring. It was essentially like the first book. We read 2 different books that year. The first book was an actual story. It was actually good. It had a good plot. I liked it. Maybe not some messages I necessarily agreed with, but it was a good plot, and so I thought it was, you know, good enough. I don't care. But the second book, it wasn't even a story. All the thing was essentially like, I compile things that make me happy over a year. I don't care. That shit sucked. The shit was so ass because the entire thing was like, oh dude, that's great. Did I ask? That was how I felt about the entire story. It's like talking about like, oh dude, XYZ thing is so good because blah 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. There's no plot progression because it's not even like an actual like story where it's a thing. It's like an autobiography kind of thing. I did not give a single fuck about it. It was annoying as shit. I hated it. I didn't read most of it. Still wrote an essay on it. Still passed that class. Gave 0 fucks. That is how I roll with sometimes. Other stuff when I'm forced to read books, they kind of hit though. High school gave me some good books, surprisingly enough. Not all hit, but some of them are really good. I remember I had to read this one book called Watchers. I think it was called Watchers. If it's the one that if you look it up and it involves a dog, that's the one I'm talking about. But I was so intrigued by that one. Because it actually had a good story. Like it's kind of fantastical at points and maybe had some plot holes, but at least has a story to be enjoyed. I enjoyed it. It may not have been the most like literally intensive one. There's like no, it may not have been as strong of a wow, this author meant S, Y, Z. I don't care. If it's enjoyable, that's all I care about. Like, that's all matters. I had a class last semester, actually. I was able to take a class English class all about comic books, essentially, or graphic novels. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are very good. Like, we had to read Mouse. Mouse, one of the most influential ones. It's about the Holocaust, spoilers. But it's a very good book that handles the subject matter very well. It's a very, very good book. Then there were other books I was like, wow, very bad. What is your favorite part about your chem major so far? That's a good question, actually. I think in a weird way, I feel like it's very consistent. Chemistry is in a way consistent, at least the teachers that I'm learning make it seem. I learn how to, like, certain things work, and there's no changing things, there's nothing to discern. Again, that's my problem with physics, is that there was a lot of things that when it comes to, like, discerning the shit, you kind of have to figure it out without, like, all the information, which I'm awful at. With chemistry, usually you're given all the information that you will need to succeed, and if you're actually practicing it, obviously you could just figure it out by using testing materials, whatever the fuck. And I've been in labs. Labs are fine. Bit boring at times, but I like labs. They're actually not the worst thing. Writing lab reports suck, but doing the actual part, not bad. Not bad. I can be pretty fast with it. Like, right now with organic chem, here's the interesting thing about organic chem. It is one of those hyped up, really hard classes. There's no math involved. There's very little math. There is one math thing I've learned so far, and that is a very simple math equation. Nothing, you could be blindfolded and fucking do it. It's not hard. But most of what's being taught in that class is just, hey, how does this reaction work? And they give you a lot of information, so it's a lot of memorization. But I could figure it out. That's how I am. Only one. Dude, yeah, no, that's the crazy shit. It's essentially determining, I don't want to get into it too much, but it's determining, like, certain amounts of like not hydrogens, but like saturation of a certain compound via, like, subtracting things. All you're doing is like, hey, there's an X amount of thing, add 2 to that, then subtract this, and then divide it all by 2. That's so hard, guys. Wow, that's crazy. The only other, like, variable that is there is, like, if there's this element added to it, subtract it. If there's this one, add it. If there's this one, ignore it. It's not that hard. It's very, very easy. The only thing that's very annoying is homework. Not even organic chem homework, it's physics homework. Physics homework makes me want to cry, because that shit takes way too long. You have exam students? Depends. It depends. I feel like I've been on a streak of, like, exams being more or less staggered, which is good in a way, because I immediately can focus on one at a time. I think in 2 weeks, it's either 2 weeks or a week, I have a physics exam, but I think it's 2 weeks because my professor would have talked about it today if it was next week. But I think in 2 weeks I'll have, like, more or less start up of exams again, because I know, like, early parts of next month is when my physics exam is, and then the rest of the month is me basically crying about every other exam I have, because usually they're around the same time. It depends though, because certain classes don't have much. Because I have one class, my analytical chem class, which is very easy class. It has exams. It only has, like, a midterm and a final. I have other homeworks that's way more, like, intensive, but it's very easy. Okay, you can do it. I failed the last one, so don't necessarily say that. Don't count too much on that. I failed the last one. Like, it's okay. I'm not crying about it because it wasn't a bad failure. And, like, taking the other one I did and averaging them, it's like a C, so I don't care. I did okay on the first one. It was fine. It's fine. It's okay. That's all that matters. But it's just funny. Yeah, my nose. Chemistry is kind of fun though, because my analytical chem class recently, they did, like, one of those, like, fun little, like, experiment things. My professor took a dollar bill, took a solution of alcohol and water, mixed it together, like, it's like half and half. Mix it together, dip the dollar bill in there, set the dollar bill on fire. It won't burn. There's no burning on it. If you do it right, it will not burn. It was to prove something about, like, I don't know, alcohol being, like, whatever the fuck. I don't remember what it was. I wasn't paying that much attention during that class. Don't sue me. But it was interesting. It was at least a cool thing. It didn't, like, a necessarily, like, experience that involved way more, like, hands-on stuff, but it's cool. Hello, Jonah 11. How are you doing on this fine afternoon? I'm more or less talking about my college stuff right now because I'm a wheat spry young college student. What has been a favorite experiment that you've been able to participate in? Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but it's actually one of my physics classes because I'm taking a physics lab inside my physics class. I hate doing it. Don't get me wrong, it's awful usually, but the last one we did, nothing about the experiment itself was fun, except for 2 things I actually thought were kind of funny. they were more or less trying to prove stuff about like how you like spinning in a circle can be like like having like certain radius affects how fast you can go. So they got this this like rotating stool that you could sit on and like spin yourself on, and they have these two weights. What you do is simple: spin yourself on that stool with your weights out extended slowly and pull the weights in close to your chest. What happens? You spin around faster. I feel like I'm nerding out right now, but it's kind of fun, actually. It was very fun to do that shit because essentially you just start zooming around, and it's kind of fun. You get very dizzy, but it's kind of fun. That's my favorite part because it's actually kind of like I felt like a little kid. That's why it was my favorite. Like, it wasn't very intensive or anything, but just doing that little one was kind of fun. And bringing it back out slows you down. That's the only main thing to take a give. I'm not gonna get into anything else about the experiment day because it sucked. That was fun. That was a fun one. Oh, they had those like spinning wheel things that like it's basically a bike wheel that you could spin attached to a string. You could spin it, and if you also sat on the stool and like the spinning sideways, you would start moving from like rest, and it's like, wow, why am I moving? It's like it's interesting shit. Hey Dongari, how are you doing? I'm talking about some stuff I learned from my classes, which is kind of funny. I think there's also a YouTube video. There's like one Texas A&M professor that was like famous for this shit. You could take a spinning wheel, start spinning it on a string, let go, holding the string, and it just starts like spinning sideways or some shit or whatever. It's interesting. I was looking as I'm currently at work. RIP. I don't know how it feels. Dude, being at work sucks sometimes. I used to work at a coffee shop, and I was talking to one of my friends about this because one of my friends gets something called a London Fog, which is like a certain tea thing. I thought it was a very like niche drink because at my old coffee place there was only ever one person who ordered it, and the only reason why everyone remembered her is because one, she's the only person to ever order that thing and like doesn't do it much, and straight up she never tipped, and that's why people remembered her. Feeling like crap due to my sinuses bugging me today. Other than that, I've been taking it easy today. Yeah, that fucking sucks. I hate sinuses. I heard a bit about labs, I think. Yeah, the labs and stuff, they're interesting, but like they're a lot of work. Oh, I forgot I was talking about this, but I kind of neglected it. But yeah, growing up in my house, way back, I'm calling back with something very early on. I grew up with pets all my life. And I really learned this until I moved out of my house to go to college. I'm allergic to dogs. And cats. I'm pretty sure I am. All my life, I violently sneezed. Like chain sneezed. It doesn't necessarily have to be around dogs, but like being around that household, I chain sneeze. Very hard. It is very annoying. I hate it. I thought it was just something I did. I thought I was just allergic to like everything. And I was like, whatever, you know, it is what it is. It stopped when I moved out of to college, and I'm like, it's the house. It's where my parents live. That's what caused it all. I never even thought about that. But yeah, no. Ever since I moved out, more or less, I've never sneezed like that again. The only thing that could possibly be was one of two things. Either the pet dander or the amount of dust in that place, because there's a fuck ton of dust. And I'm more inclined to believe it's actually pet dander, because here's the thing, right? Whenever I actually see a like random cat like at a friend's place, or a cat at like a gas station, whatever, because yes, I've seen gas station cats, they're adorable. Yeah, I would flare up, I would start sneezing like a motherfucker. So it's gotta be that. Like, I've had more violent reactions depending on the breed before, but like, yeah, I'm allergic to them. I've been at a friend's place, watch movies, and he had this cat, and I would be petting the fucker, and I would be like inflamed all over the place and dying, and I would literally have to be taking drugs to keep myself like from not actually like being decrepit. It's an awful experience. I'm trying to think. I used to think I was straight allergic to whatever my dog was, because every time I would pet him, I would occasionally just start getting rashes on my arm, and I thought that shit was very concerning because I never had rashes like that before. I think it stopped though. I don't know. Regardless, I kind of realized that like when I eventually have my own actual like house, whatever, because I'm only in an apartment for like college and whatever. When I actually like officially move out, I'm done with college. I don't think I can get an animal. I don't think I can get a pet, which sucks because I love dogs. I love cats. I am a lover of them. But I can't really do it. What games have you been playing lately, by the way, Kiji? I was talking about this earlier. I'm in a weird lull where I'm like, I look at a bunch of games and I'm like, I'm not that interested. I'm not saying I hate games or anything like that. I've just been kind of bored. But like, I don't know. As again, I play a lot of tactical games on stream or whatever, but I do try to play other stuff off stream because I want to play other things. It'll make you feel better. I bruised my arm from doing farm arm playing a few times for 1 minute each. Yeah, that's a fucking rip. I getting bruised for that shit. But it's fine. You don't have to cheer me up for that regard. I don't think everything I've been playing recently. It's mostly whatever I play with my friends, and that kind of varies. I know we had a period. I want to play Party Animals again with some of my friends because that shit is actually kind of fun just to dick around with your friends. I think it's fun. I don't know. Leave the Company's fun with friends too. I played some of that last Saturday because I was in a tournament with some friends. I didn't stream my end. I was on another channel, but we won some stuff, which is cool as shit. I don't know. It just depends on what I'm in the mood in. I play a lot of games. I grew up playing a lot of different games, so I kind of have a more of a wider taste of games choices, and I'm more willing to try out new stuff unless it's like something like genre that I'm very much not completely interested in, like fighting games, for example. Fighting games are kind of fun, but I get very bored with fighting games very quick because I'm very bad at them. And those kind of games, you really to kind of get a very much a big enjoyment out of it, you kind of have to be be decent at it at the best, because the enjoyment out of it comes from winning, and if you can't win, it kind of sucks. So I never really liked playing them too much. Not to say they're bad, it's just not my kind of game. But them games are another like kind of similar because I suck at those too. Again, not to say they're bad, I just don't play a lot of them. I at least that one's a little different because I can at least play it and like have it not be competitive, and it's more like I can just play on easy mode and it's like fun. But it's not my kind of thing usually. Usually it's like the typical like adventure, like shooters or whatever. I haven't actually played a shooter in forever, but like anything else can be kind of fun. I don't know. It really just depends on what I'm in the mood in, because sometimes I get an urge to play a certain genre of games for a while. Otherwise, I'm not. Like I've been playing tactical games on stream. The last time I played a tactical game, like before I started streaming them, was a fuck ton long ago when I played like in Fire Emblem Engage for the first time. Ugh, I'm a bit weird in that regard. I kind of go for phases and stuff. It's like that phase when you go for start playing Minecraft for like weeks on end, and then you just never play it again. I have been through those experiences, except I don't play Minecraft much anymore. Just in general. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm waiting for like new games to be released. Like I'm gonna look at Steam right now. I'm gonna see like stuff. Oh hey, look, there's Baldur's Gate 3. I actually wouldn't mind playing Baldur's Gate 3. I just don't own it, and it's a lot of money, so I'm not gonna. Like, I don't know. There's always games I look at and go, I wouldn't mind playing that one day. I don't want to spend money on buying new games right now, but like, there's a lot of games I have fun with. One of the games I always have like a little love playing with friends, because again, I'm a massive fan of playing games with friends, not necessarily by yourselves, because it's fun. I love social deduction games. I love lying to my friends. Those games are so much fun. Like games like Deceit or games like Werewolf, that kind of thing. That is really fun because it leads to a lot of fun shit when you're just messing with your friends. It's a kind of a stupid thing. It can get kind of stale at times if you play it too much, which is why it's best done sparingly. But I love playing it. I would love to do a collab one day when I get a bunch of people that play like Deceit or something. That would be actually pretty fun. Or Among Us. Among Us. I wouldn't want to actually play that much of Among Us. Among Us is okay, but like, eh. What do I want to play when I'm playing like stuff like Deceit or something? Because those games are pretty fun. Is whatever though. Oh, fuck, I dropped my thing. I'm just fucking around with shit in my room when I get bored. I feel like I'm ADHD sometimes because I just fidget with a bunch of shit. I have like a lint roller that I'm just like tossing around. It's stupid, but I have fun with it. I don't use it too much because I only ever really use it when I'm wearing like black that looks kind of messy. I just like wipe it off. It's weird. Like looking around my room. There was some new game called Exit 8 or something, which was a Japanese game. I actually played it before. I beat it. I felt like the game was... I kind of sped through that game unintentionally. So I was thinking like it would be longer. I guess it's for a game as like as little as it was. It's I shouldn't have expected too much, but I don't know. I beat in like 20 minutes. But it's whatever. I'm not against horror. I like survival horror too. Survival horror is a very fun genre. I played stuff like Resident Evil. Resident Evil is fun. It's one of my favorite series. Granted, I only played like the remakes, but the remakes are fun, so I like them. I wouldn't mind playing like 7 or 8 necessarily one day, but I've always seen the story, so it's like kind of a, you know, it's kind of shit. It's kind of not as worth it if you've already had the experience with it, you know? Because that's also another problem. I've watched too many gameplay stuff of like story games or whatever the fuck. Like, I was a massive YouTube kid growing up, so I've seen a lot of stories, just like through the eyes of a viewer and whatnot. It's funny, but like, I kind of ruined my experience for some games. I never play them for the like experience and get like XYZ experience. Because I'm one of the guys. I feel like I'm the like, I don't know, how do I put this? I feel like I am the target gamer audience when it comes to like twists and whatnot. Because usually I'm kind of brain dead, and I don't see a twist coming until it actually happens. Even if it looks extremely obvious, I will probably be surprised by it. Like if you see me on streams being like reacted to a twist or something, it's actually because it got me. It is genuine. I am not playing it up. I am actually just that stupid and don't see it from a mile away. Because I kind of one-track mind usually. Like sometimes if it calls for it, it's like an investigative story or whatnot, then I will probably be like a bit predictive. But I kind of have pea brain, and I will be shocked by things, even if it seems extremely obvious. I'm just really into like past stuff. I got a Warhammer 40k squeaky game coming out that's Space Marines 2. I remember playing the demo and watching people play the first game. I haven't been that much of a fan of 40k stuff, but I have a lot of friends that are into it. Speaking of them, I was talking to some of my old high school friends. I love them, but the main thing that I was having issues with is I was in call and they suddenly just start talking a bunch about D&D, their D&D campaign. I'm not a D&D guy. I'm not. Like, there's no shame in it. There's no shame if you play it. I'm not giving you shit for it. It's just not the thing for me, because I didn't like my time. It's a third-person shooter game? Oh, really? Is it like Vermintide? Because I have War of the Vermintide, like, 2, which is a similar thing. Or like, it's a 40k game, but, like, shooter. Oh, third person. Oh, that is interesting, actually. They have so many different kind of games, which I was not expecting. I actually played Vermintide 2. I never actually played it. I just got it at one point because they were offering it for free, and I just like, fuck it, I'm gonna snipe that sucker while it's free, because free game is free, and I'm not stupid. But free games is how I meet a bunch of games and stuff, because that's the biggest thing. Like, those kind of availability for that kind of stuff is great. I love it. One of the first times I played XCOM was because they offered it for free. It was Games with Gold for like Xbox. They offered it for free. I was like, fuck it, seems fun, I'm gonna get it. Played that for the first time. It was great. November Time is an FPS. I know. I just saw a shooter. Did I say shooter? No, I'm just brain dead. Never mind. Now, basically, you mean a third-person shooter now, so it's a different kind of game. But it's interesting though. I don't play much. I haven't played a third-person shooter in a while, actually. Like, as like a standalone game. Like, not in Battle Royale. I played like Fortnite like a handful of times recently. Not too recently, but somewhat. That's like the last one. I used to really like third-person shooters. I haven't played too many recently. Damn. There's not many like single-player third-person shooters that come out nowadays, I feel like. Wait, what am I saying? I played Alan Wake. Well, that's survival horror. That's not really the same thing. I don't know. I'm like thinking about it now, but I'm trying to think of the games I'm trying to. Did I even play that many? Like think Uncharted. I never played Uncharted, but think like Uncharted. I remember there was Tomb Raider like remake games, not remakes. Well, yeah, kinda. when they were like doing it for the first time. I remember I played the first one. I really liked it because I like third-person shooters. I don't know. I just haven't played many recently. I just realized that. Ain't that interesting? Also, I'm a fan of when games have like a kind of a unique concept and are played a bit weirdly, you know? Like I see like those on YouTube every time, like game where XYZ is thing, and it's like what? Like I remember there was one game where like you're just a dude who has no legs and one arm, and you have a parasite and you have like just to like manually control your gun and shit. That was interesting. That was an interesting like watch as a video and whatnot. It's just weird stuff. Like I've seen a lot of those kind of games. I'm like, damn, this is interesting. At the same time, I kind of spoil my experience by like actually playing those games. It's funny though. That's all it is. Ugh. God, I also hate Wednesdays. The reason why I never usually don't stream on Wednesdays is because that's when my physics homework's due. And that's the day where I basically suffer because I need to lock in and actually do it. Otherwise, I cry. Fun times, might I add. I know it might be early, but I think I'm probably gonna end a bit earlier because frankly, I should actually work on my physics homework and I don't have a lot of time today. I just wanted to do something today because I didn't stream yesterday and I feel bad because like, I was kind of lazy about getting a schedule out. But hopefully next week I can go back to XCOM and stuff. I'm hoping for that because I'm getting a new fan thing to help cool down my computer more, and that will hopefully help overheating issues and prevent anything else from starting. Otherwise, I think I'm done for the day. I don't think I'm gonna rate anyone because it's kind of, yeah. But other than that, I think it's over. I'm gonna head out. The schedule will be out. If it's on Twitter, it's on YouTube, it's on whatever. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.